Hello friends! Welcome to my first ever sketchbook tour. Sit down, grab a cup of tea as we go through this together. Like I said, this is my first sketchbook tour. I'm very excited and very appreciative of all of the desire of wanting to do this sketchbook tour. Let me move this out of the way a little bit. So I guess let's start with some facts about this sketchbook. I'll have it on the screen over here. It is a Canson mixed media sketchbook, 7.5 by 10 inches, I think. And I believe it was about, I'm gonna check online, so I'll probably have the price here of how much I paid for this, because if you couldn't tell by the title, this was a long sketchbook. I take a while to get through my sketchbooks. I'm trying to fix that, and so this sketchbook in particular took me from February of 2017 all the way until December of 2019. So it's a lot of old art. You're gonna see my art style change a lot from where it was to what you're used to now. It takes me a while to get through sketchbooks because I just keep buying new ones and I want to use those. And I had bought a new moleskin sketchbook recently, and I really wanted to use that one. But I told myself that I needed to finish this one first before I jumped into that one. So let's start. Yeah. So, all right, as we can see here, it's a lot different. Just some working with pencil. It's really old. The pencil is really smudged, which is unfortunate. But yeah, just a lot of studies, a lot of hand studies. And then if we flip here, I put down this sheet of paper so it wouldn't smudge so much. So let's get that out of the way. But yeah, so this was a sort of drawing witch Sona. I believe this is probably, no, this is around March, so I'm not entirely sure. It wouldn't have been Inktober, but yeah, this is a cute little witch Sona I have here. And then this page is actually just a lot of sketches from a project I was doing in college at the time, where we had to design a poster for an old medieval story. And these are just reference photos that I had taped in at the time. So yeah. And then if we go here, it's a lot really empty right now. Well, it's full for some people, but for me later on you'll see some more sketches here, a lot of pencil work still. I didn't really get into watercolors or any other sort of mixed media until much later. But yeah, these are some old characters that I used to work on. I don't really work on them now. It's really crazy to sort of see where my style was in eye shape and just anatomy. And then Star here, never finished this piece. I was trying to do a lot more finished work in my sketchbook, but didn't really get to that until later. And then here we have, you're gonna see a lot of Over the Garden Wall, especially. And man, this is around the time when I really wanted to start making stickers. So this was kind of me experimenting with if I would do that. So that's why we have sort of this here with the turtles and like the lantern. This over here was just some sketches, some random wanting to get better at drawing guys. So yeah, we get into here. We're still in pretty early April of 2017. And already my style is changing quite a bit from the beginning of the sketchbook. But yeah, so we have some Lars from Steven Universe and the ube cake, which I love sweet potato, so I was really excited to see that in the episode. But yeah, so, oh, this is around when, let's see, May of 2017. So this is around when Pink Lars was actually leaked or shown, and I thought it was going to be a Steven and Lars fusion, so I drew what I thought that would be, and that's actually around the start of my Instagram. And this here, I had recently gotten a new calligraphy pen, a really thin one, and I was sort of testing that out here. Yeah, so we got a little Bill cipher in the corner. And then, oh, yes. So my beefy woman, Jasper here, never finished her. I believe these are, I don't know what markers these are. Not Copics, but, maybe the Zig pens, I'm unsure. And then here, this is right around when Breath of the Wild first came out. And again, I was trying to work on a lot more detail, a lot more specific things. And then these in here are actually from 2019 that I just pasted in. In my art class, I would just sort of doodle what was going on in class. So this is me listening to my art teacher just like go off about how amazing art is. He's very enthusiastic and very excitable. And then this is, I had gotten back into an old show that I used to watch called Wedding Peach, which I really love, highly recommend. It's an older anime, very Sailor Moon esque. So if we turn the page, yeah, so getting more into some character work. This is definitely a character I had. I'm not going to go too much into the notes here, but it was sort of an idea I had. She was a blind vampire, I believe she was in a relationship with another character that I hadn't quite worked out. But yeah, so this idea really didn't take off, but I really enjoyed working with her style and trying to get sort of texture in. I don't know if you guys can see that, but trying to get extra texture in the blacks. And then this is sort of a room study, if you can see here. We'll turn it sideways. Again, pencil marks. My intention was to turn these into finished pieces before they smudged like this, but I wanted to get a lot better at room studies here. And this would have been the room for a different character from that idea, which I do still really love, and I do love this room quite a bit, so that might be something that I transfer onto some less smudged paper and try to finish up there. And then, yeah, here we go. So we have some sketches here. Me and my friend were trying to do sort of, I believe this might have been around, no, I was thinking maybe these sketches were from Inktober, but this is saying August, so but yeah, and these are some more edgy sketches that I used to do. But yeah, and then we have Bipper here, Bill Dipper from Gravity Falls, which I did turn into a full digital piece because I enjoyed it so much. And so we can see kind of a more consistent style the past few pages, but it really does change later. And then this is just notes from my art history class and my art fundamentals class. This would have been back in my sophomore year of college. I've graduated now, so it's really interesting to sort of see this. And then this is that character again, and these two were also characters from that idea that I might go back to. And then this was some character sketches for a play that I was in charge of doing the costumes for, called The Cripple of Inishmun, which is sort of a black comedy type play that my school was doing. So these are kind of sketches of what I wanted the characters to be wearing, and then I would sort of go into the costume shop and see what we had and what needed to be picked up, but that's neither here nor there. And then, yeah, so this is one of the characters on the previous page, actually, here. My anatomy is really bad at this time. Wasn't doing a lot of studying or drawing a lot at this time, just getting acclimated to college. So I do really like this little tree that I have here. I really enjoy the shape of it. But yeah, and then over here, another character that I have with a new style I was trying to work on because I didn't really like how complex and like accurate the anatomy I was trying to go for in my earlier ones, and I wanted to try to simplify so that I could work on some art more. And so if we turn the page here, yeah, okay. So this is when I decided that I really wanted to try and get into just pen sketches without any pencil sketching underneath, to try to just get over my fear of, sketching and erasing and sketching and erasing. So this is the sort of birth of the cat Sona that I have on my Instagram, the first sort of stages, and it's very interesting to sort of see how it looks now versus what it looks like today. And here's a little witch Sona version, which is actually one of the first posts on my Instagram. Turned out a little different than this little guy, but I still really like this. But yeah, and then over here was a lot of comic ideas that I wanted to do, and more ideas of sort of what I wanted to draw. Yeah, so I never actually finished any of these, but I've always wanted to go back and make sort of finished versions of them. And then, yeah, so this one is actually from March of 2019. The sketches here, I think, are 2018. I don't see a date. I didn't date my stuff a lot back in the day. I try to now. But this is from 2019, when we were supposed to sort of do a self-portrait in a group I was in, and so I sort of drew myself in this jacket that I have. I really love. I got that from a thrift store, in my water bottle with all of my stickers, so I decided to just take that in. And then some more comic ideas, some more just concept sketches of things that I wanted to turn into full pieces, but I never got to. This actually is a sketch for a comic that I did do. I really got into the crossover comics of Over the Garden Wall and Gravity Falls. I thought that was a really interesting concept, and so I was drawing a lot of like thumbnails of Dipper and Wirt, and so that's what a lot of these are. And then this is Avery from Animal Crossing. I think this is probably right around when Pocket Camp first came out, which I've played almost every day since it's come out. Um, but yeah, and then we get into this, a really sketchy, trying to get a lot of rear shots, different angles. This is based off of an artist, I believe. It's been so long, so I'm not entirely sure what artist that is. I wish I knew. I wish I had written it down. Some more work, because that's just what I go back to when I don't have anything else to draw. And then this is some concept sketches for a upper level art class I was taking. I believe this would have been the end of my sophomore year. My family moved part of the way. I'm in Texas currently, but my family had moved to California while I was still in college. So I kind of wanted to incorporate that into my project that I had to do, where it was sort of two profiles, and one was the Texas scenery and one was the California scenery. I don't know if I have those pieces on me. I did finish those, but I would have to go through and figure that out. So this is the start of another idea. I had another character, and they're like witch familiar, trying to get better at drawing birds from a front angle. But yeah, so this is, I was working on my witch Sona, and then I kind of shifted more to a concept for a comic I possibly had, which has evolved quite a bit from this original sort of sketch that I have. And this is, we start incorporating a bit more color into my pages, which I enjoy and I'm definitely going to have from here on out. This is Magnus from the Adventure Zone, and I've actually changed sort of how I draw him now. But I do really enjoy these first few concept sketches that I have of him, because he's just a soft and sweet boy, and I do really like Magnus, I think, the most out of the three. And then this is my witch boy again, working on angles, just trying to sort of fill a page and add color. I believe this is actually a highlighter or a mild liner, so not even really using traditional like art media yet, outside of pencils and micron pens and whatnot. Yeah, so this is a character from one of my D&D campaigns that I did back in the day. He's a drow wizard who is colorblind, but he's an illusion wizard. His name is Presto. Definitely a lot of inspiration from also how I draw Taco from the Adventure Zone, so trying to get out of that same face sort of situation. And again, it's so weird to see what my style was even a year ago, 2 years ago, because it's a lot more simple now and different. And this is when we start getting into a bit more color. We have some taco here, some cute little birds around a slice of bread, a lot of Adventure Zone. This is kind of getting towards the end of the Adventure Zone, I'm pretty sure, or balance, I should say. So we have some Carrie and Merle, and I did draw some of these. I did definitely turn this into a digital piece, and I did sketch some of these into digital pieces as well. Yeah, and then we get really into art, into color here. And this is October of 2018, so we did kind of do a skip at some point, I'm pretty sure, where I wasn't really drawing in this as much, because I believe this was the beginning of 2018 over here, and we sort of skip all the way to the end of 2018. So there's a lot more color. I was getting into watercolor at the time. I really wanted to sort of fill a page. This is also when I was stage managing for a production at my college, and so in the down moments I was just trying to put as much on a page as I could. This is that same sort of witch boy from earlier, but a different concept, different style, I should say. And I really feel like I'm sort of getting into my own and my style. This is a friend of mine, which I really like how it turned out, because I don't really enjoy drawing friends and their likeness, but... And then this is, we have Ango from the Adventure Zone, and then this is a little farm boy. It was getting into fall, so I wanted to incorporate a lot of fall colors into my sketchbook. We have a little sweet potato here, which I absolutely love. We have sort of a different imagined taco based off of when the comic first got announced. So yeah, this is a lot more similar to my current style. This little witch boy, I really like this little cat. I ended up getting some water on it, so it was bleeding, but I actually kind of quite like that. This I turned into a full piece as well. And yeah, this is my backpack, and I actually ended up, after drawing this, it convinced me to do the sort of meet the artist drawing that I have on my Instagram right now. I think we're getting into, January of 2019. It was taking me quite a while to sort of finish each page. So like this one took from the 20th of November to the 1st of December just to get a lot of this done. And I don't know if, this sort of stain right here is actually from the next page. I was trying out a new sort of painting medium, and it ended up bleeding through to the page and like kind of discoloring it, which was really unfortunate. So I'm glad I did it in a little corner piece. Some more sort of small sketches. This was a birthday sketch for something I did for my mother, which I turned into a full piece. This was sort of a small sketch for another art, a larger piece that I did for my art class. And this is sort of when I'm trying out new mediums now: watercolors, paint pens. This is some gouache up here. And then, I really, really like how this sort of multicolored, like blending into each other look is around this little clown. And I just really like the aesthetic of sort of older type clowns working on anatomy, just a lot of color and vibrancy that really wasn't in the first few pages of my sketchbook. And this is probably one of my favorite pages, I think. This is what ended up turning into what is my favorite piece, I think, currently, full piece that I did. That's on my Instagram. And this is actually a concept for a story that I really want to work on, which is about these 3 little forest animals, and they're sort of going through the forest and like solving mysteries and doing a lot of fun stuff. So you're gonna see them in the next few pages because I did draw them quite a bit. But so here we go. So trying to work on some more scenery things, just a lot of thumbnail sketches of what I might want a front cover to look like, working on different colors. I kind of had the other 2 characters down, but this cat character, their name is Misha. I didn't really know what type of coloring I wanted to go there. And I have this little ghost boy, and underneath is this frog that I colored in way too dark. And so, but I didn't want to cover it up, so I just put a little piece of like parchment over it and doodled on top. But I like sort of the texture that I get in here. I'm working with some paint pens for maybe some pin ideas, some like clay pins that I'm trying to work on, because I really like that sort of look and feel. And then we have, this is a commission that I did for a friend who really liked Umbreon, drawing some more Pokemon here. This was a gouache study that I did from a Skillshare class back in the day by Arleesha Yetzer. I'll put a link in the description, but I didn't really know quite how to use gouache. I was using it very similarly to my watercolors, so I kind of wanted to get a better idea of the basics, which this really helped. I really did enjoy this. And yeah, started incorporating some colored pencil in with my watercolor and gouache, just trying to get a really sort of mixed media feel in my artwork. And this is another commission that I did that I didn't quite share, of a friend's D&D characters. Some more gouache work here. This is right when I got Captain Toad, so drew a little bit of that, and then it sort of fall back onto my over the garden wall type inspiration with this little tomato lady here, and these little fancy frog gentlemen that I have, and this would have been December of 2019, so it's kind of a jump here because this is November 2019, so it was quite a jump from 2018 all the way to the end of 2019 here. And this is around when I also got the new sketchbook, and I was really trying to finish this as fast as possible so I could start working in my new sketchbook. Yeah, so some more pin ideas, I rewatched Hilda around this time, and I was trying to work on some background ideas and other things. This is around the time 2020 was about to start. This here is my favorite, Animal Crossing villager Klaus, who I do have in New Horizons, and I'm very excited. He's so pompous and I love it. The Princess Bride, this is Buttercup, and I really like how this turned out with the flowers and the mixed media. This is a little bit of watercolor, gouache, and also colored pencils. But yeah, just sort of trying to get a lot of color in. This little cat girl I really liked, trying to get that sort of cottagey vibe, soft vibe. This is also some gouache here. I really loved how these clouds turned out. And this is just like trying to get comfortable with gouache because it's just, really nervous to get started with a new medium here. And a lot more sketches of this cat girl who I named Mint. Oh, no. Her name is Bramble, I believe. Her name is Bramble, and the Mint is on this last page, who is this cute little sort of cafe dog. And then some little thumbnails of kind of bigger pieces that I wanted to do of the two of them. And yeah, that's my sketchbook. And the last few pages are just swatches that I did in the back of my book, and notes from class when I couldn't find my notebook, and then my Pokemon stickers when the new starters came out. This is actually my work that I turned into stickers that I still have a few of. But yeah, so that is my sketchbook tour. Thank you for coming along with me. It was really exciting getting to do this, and I hope to get through a sketchbook much faster next time so that I can show you my next one. Thank you so much, and have a lovely and beautiful day.